In the middle of the arid Australian continent, where the ground cracks under the scorching sun and hot winds blow for months on end, it's hard to imagine that this is the birthplace of one of the world's largest mango growing industries. On one side lies a scorching desert, an endless expanse of red earth where life seems to be pushed to its limits. But just beyond that harsh land, vast mango orchards appear like a verdant illusion. Trees in straight rows, their foliage rustling, branches laden with ripe fruit. Each season, thousands of tons of mangoes from this place reach the global market. So, how do Australians manage to grow, cultivate, and harvest mangoes on such a massive scale, even in conditions where nature seems to be anything but kind? Go discover, how do Australian farmers grow and harvest thousands of tons of mangoes? Mangoes are not grown indiscriminately in Australia. Large mango orchards are concentrated in certain regions such as the Northern Territory, Queensland, and Western Australia, where the harsh climate is actually an advantage. Strong sunlight during the day helps mango trees photosynthesize well, accumulating more sugar, resulting in sweeter fruit. The rainy season arrives quickly, providing enough water for the trees to grow, then reseeds early, thereby limiting pests, diseases, and root rot. Mango varieties like Kensington Pride, R2E2, and Calypso were chosen because they tolerate sunlight well and produce large, uniform fruits. This led to a very clear Australian approach to agriculture. Not every hot place can grow mangoes on a large scale. Only areas truly suited to the natural environment achieve high yields. In Australia, large-scale mango orchards are built as a disciplined production system, where each mango tree is fixed in a precise position from the moment it is planted. The rows of trees are straight. The spacing is calculated to allow machinery to move easily, and between the trees is a system of steel wires stretched to keep the trunks upright against strong winds and the weight of the fruit during the harvest season. The steel wires aren't just for show. They shape the tree's growth, keeping the canopy compact, maintaining a stable height, and preventing the trees from leaning over when the fruit ripens simultaneously. From a distance, the entire mango orchard resembles a giant outdoor trellis, straight, sturdy, and ready for mechanized harvesting, where everything is designed to operate smoothly, not for decoration. Under the scorching sun, the drip irrigation system quietly operates throughout the day. Water doesn't spray onto the leaves or soggle the soil, but slowly seeps into the root zone, nourishing the plant from within. Each watering has a clear purpose: to provide the plant with enough water for growth, but not so much as to cause disease. In harsh climatic conditions, this restraint helps the mangoes grow evenly, with thick skins, firm flesh, and withstand long-distance transportation. Caring for mangoes here is a series of interconnected tasks carried out at the right time. When the trees flower, growers focus on protecting the blossoms from hot winds and drought. When the fruit begins to form, they adjust watering and fertilization to nourish the fruit slowly, preventing it from growing too quickly, which could lead to spongy flesh or cracked skin. As harvest time approaches, all interventions are minimized to allow the fruit to mature physiologically in a stable manner, ready for mass harvesting. Pruning is an indispensable task. Tall, dense, or intersecting branches are removed, not for aesthetic reasons, but to keep the tree low, compact, and well ventilated. This allows sunlight to penetrate deeper into the canopy, resulting in more uniform fruit ripening and fewer pests and diseases. Most importantly, the tree's shape is maintained uniformly, making it easier for harvesting machines to access without breaking branches or dropping young fruit. When you look at the big picture, you'll understand why these mango orchards yield large and consistent harvests year after year. Each tree doesn't exist in isolation, but is a link in the entire system. From planting, watering, and caring for the trees to shaping them, everything is geared towards a single moment, a quick, simultaneous harvest with minimal loss. Here, the mangoes grow not only thanks to the sun and wind, but also thanks to a disciplined, precise, and well-planned agricultural practice. In industrial mango cultivation, the ripening period is the most stressful and harsh time. Mangoes never ripen at the same time. One fruit may be turning yellow, while another remains green and hard, even if they are only a few branches apart. Overripe mangoes fall, get scratched, and are therefore unsuitable for export. Underripe mangoes have bland flesh and poor flavor, and the market immediately turns its back on them. Therefore, mango growers don't rely on feelings. They read the signals, how much the peel changes color, how much the hardness decreases, and whether the brix level has reached the threshold. Every morning, the data is updated, compared, and forecasted again. The pressure isn't on individual mangoes, but on the entire season. Just a week's delay can cause thousands of tons of mangoes to fall out of optimal harvesting time, resulting in millions of dollars in losses. That's the moment nature and the market confront each other, and the farmer is forced to choose timing with no chance to undo it. When the mangoes reach ideal ripeness, the orchard enters the most stressful phase of the entire season. It's no longer about tending or waiting, but about taking precise action. Harvesting doesn't happen all at once. Each area is opened according to a plan to ensure that each fruit is picked at the right time, neither too young nor too ripe. The atmosphere in the orchard is always highly focused because even a hasty decision could affect the quality of the entire batch. Most mangoes are harvested by hand. Workers move slowly along the rows of trees, observing each fruit individually. The color of the skin, firmness, size, and texture are assessed on the spot. Unripe fruits are left for the next harvest, while ripe fruits are selected directly from the branches. Specialized pruning shears are used to make a clean cut, leaving a short, sufficient length of stem, a small but crucial detail to minimize sap leakage, prevent bruising, and keep the fruit fresh for longer during storage. After being harvested, mangoes are not dropped to the ground. They are gently placed in baskets lined with soft padding and initially sorted right in the orchard. Those destined for high-end export are separated and processed more slowly, but with near-perfect precision, as even a small scratch can significantly reduce their commercial value. Alongside manual labor in modern farms, harvesting robots are beginning to participate in the outdoor production line. These robotic arms move between rows of trees using cameras to identify ripe fruit, adjusting the clamping force and cutting the stems steadily. The robots work continuously, reducing the burden on humans and maintaining a consistent harvesting pace for large batches. The combination of human hands and automated technology creates a flexible process. Humans maintain quality, machines ensure speed. And at the moment each mango leaves the branch, its fate is almost sealed. Not just a ripe fruit, but the result of an entire season measured in yield, time, and value. As soon as they leave the branch, mangoes are not allowed to slow down even for a moment. From the harvesting area, they are transferred directly to a standardized processing line located near the orchard, where quality begins to be locked in. The mangoes enter a circulating washing tank, where a continuous stream of water washes away dirt, sap, and impurities clinging to the peel, the first step in ensuring the safety and uniformity of the entire batch. Next, the mangoes slide onto a sorting conveyor belt. Here, humans and machines work in parallel. Workers observe directly, while a camera system quickly scans each fruit, assessing its size, color, and surface. Damaged, misshapen, or defective fruits are immediately discarded and not allowed to proceed to avoid affecting overall quality. Only fruits that meet the standards are retained, sorted by size, and neatly arranged in trays or boxes in uniform groups. Before leaving the factory, the mangoes are pre-cooled. The core temperature is lowered to a safe level to slow down ripening, reduce water loss, and minimize damage during transportation. Everything takes place continuously and in a closed system to ensure the time from the farm to the cold storage is minimized. Here, Quality no longer depends on chance, but is controlled through each clearly defined stage. Not all mangoes go through the fresh export route. A portion of the production is diverted to the deep processing area, where dried mangoes are produced. Mangoes that are uniformly ripe and have good flesh but do not meet export standards are peeled, sliced, and put into the drying system. Temperature and time are carefully controlled to preserve the natural yellow color, texture, and rich sweetness, while extending the shelf life to several months. With dried mangoes, the value lies not in their appearance, but in their consistent flavor and potential for wider international market reach. Once the mangoes have passed the on-site processing stage, their journey moves to another level, the global supply chain. Both fresh and dried mangoes are packaged immediately, each carton containing complete traceability information, origin, harvest date, and quality standards. From the cold storage facility, specialized trucks transport the goods to transshipment centers and export containers, where the cold chain is strictly maintained, allowing no deviations whatsoever. From Australia, these mango shipments continue their journey to the United States, Japan, the Middle East, and many other demanding markets, where consumers are willing to pay a premium for consistently sweet, safe, and uniformly ripe mangoes, and by this point, the story of the mango has gone far beyond its original orchard under the scorching sun. It has become a link in a global network, bringing value to farmers, factories, logistics, and even the export industry, from the arid lands of Australia to the dinner tables of consumers on the other side of the earth. But behind those impressive figures lie increasingly evident risks. Climate change is ushering the Australian mango industry into an era of uncertainty. Unusually late or heavy rains and prolonged heat waves that can burn flowers and drop fruit in just days. At the same time, the increasingly difficult labor problem, rising costs, and labor shortage are forcing farms to accelerate automation. Machines, robots, and data systems are gradually replacing humans in strenuous and highly precise tasks. In the future, robots will read plant conditions faster than the human eye. AI will predict yields even before fruit forms, and every farming decision will be based on data, not luck. The Australian mango industry understands one thing very well. To sustain thousands of tons of mangoes each year in a warming world, they cannot follow nature. They must stay one step ahead of it. From sun-drenched lands that seemed like nothing but desert, Australia has transformed mangoes into a global industry where data, machines, and people work together like a giant machine. But that journey continues as the climate changes year by year and technology must outpace nature. The story of the mango is not just about agriculture, but a lesson about how humans adapt to feed the world. Subscribe to the Go Discover channel to continue exploring the production journeys, machinery, and hidden truths behind the planet's biggest industries. In American agriculture, grapes are not just a fruit. They are a strategic crop, sustaining a vast economic ecosystem. From the fresh grapes found daily in supermarkets, to the wine grapes associated with renowned wine regions and the raisins that have become a familiar global export commodity, all originate from the same slender vine, yet possess value far beyond its appearance. The unique characteristic of grapes lies in their versatility. The same vineyard can serve fresh produce, processing industries, premium beverages, and even international logistics chains. The economic value of grapes lies not only in production volume, but also in their flexibility, high added value, and strong export potential, making the United States a crucial link in the global grape market. Therefore, for American farmers, growing grapes is not simply farming. It's operating a multi-billion-dollar industry where each bunch of grapes carries the pressures of the market, the weather, and the economy behind it. When the harvest is over and the vines are shedding their leaves, winter is not a time for rest. This is when American farmers begin the most important task of the entire cycle: pruning. The selected cuttings are not immediately planted in the field. They are bundled into lots, labeled with detailed information about the variety, origin, and harvesting time, and then quickly transported to specialized processing plants. From this moment, the familiar manual farming method transforms into a precisely industrial and biological process. At the factory, each bundle of branches is passed through a cleaning process to remove soil, dried sap, and impurities clinging to the bark. This is followed by a rigorous sterilization process to eliminate fungal diseases and microorganisms that could destroy the buds during long-term storage. Next, the grapevine branches are put on a sorting line where they are measured down to the smallest detail. The length must meet standards. The diameter must be strong enough to support the buds, and the number and location of the buds must be clear and balanced. Any branch that does not meet the requirements is immediately discarded, because in an industry that produces millions of tons of grapes annually, even a small error can escalate into a major loss. After passing all inspections, the certified grapevine cuttings are transferred to specialized cold storage, a crucial stage for the survival of the buds. Inside the storage facility, temperature and humidity are precisely controlled down to the smallest detail, aiming to keep the buds in a stable, dormant state for many months. If the temperature is too high, the seedlings will wake up prematurely, expend energy, and die before they can be planted. Conversely, if it is too cold, the seedling tissue will be damaged and unable to recover. Tens of millions of grapevine cuttings rest in these cold storage facilities, monitored and inspected regularly, waiting for the right time to emerge from dormancy and return to the vineyard. This is not just a seed storage facility, but a giant seed bank for the American viticulture industry, where time, temperature, and biology are tightly controlled to ensure stable and high-yielding harvests in the future. While the grapevines quietly hibernated in the cold storage out in the fields, the land was undergoing a dramatic transformation. This was no longer the familiar farmland, but a colossal construction site. Heavy machinery plowed deep into the soil, breaking down the hardened layers accumulated over many seasons. The pH is precisely adjusted, and the soil structure is completely restructured, more porous, more aerated, ready to nurture new vines. All of this happens quietly but decisively, because here, a successful harvest doesn't begin with the vines, but with the soil beneath. As the planting season approaches, the grapevine cuttings are removed from cold storage and moved to the shaded area. This is the most sensitive transitional period. In an environment with stable temperature, indirect light, and high humidity, the buds begin to awaken and young roots form. Only when the root system is strong enough are the cuttings allowed to be planted in the field. Planting too early or too late can kill the plant or significantly reduce the yield in the first year. On the vineyards that stretch to the horizon, everything is arranged with near-perfect precision. The rows of vines are planted in perfectly straight lines, the spacing between them not for aesthetic purposes, but to allow machinery to move, harvest, and operate continuously. Each row of vines is GPS tracked, turning the field into a giant digital map. Underground, moisture sensors continuously send data to a control center, indicating exactly which vines need water and which don't. Drip irrigation systems operate silently, delivering water directly to the roots, not wasting a single drop. In the context of increasingly severe droughts in the U.S., every drop of water is considered a production cost. No flood irrigation, no waste. Here, farmers don't care for the plants by feel, but by data, algorithms, and operational discipline. These vineyards are no longer farms in the traditional sense. They operate like an open-air factory where nature and technology must work together precisely to produce millions of tons of grapes each year. On modern American vineyards, care is no longer based on intuition or anecdotal experience. Each vine is observed and managed as a living organism with its own growth rhythm. Pruning isn't about creating an eye-catching shape, but about controlling the foliage, opening up precise light spaces, and allowing sunlight to reach each grape cluster at the crucial moment, a factor that directly determines the sweetness, color, and yield of the entire crop. To accomplish this across thousands of hectares, humans cannot rely solely on manual pruning. Specialized pruning machines move along the straight rows of vines, their blades operating at preset heights and amplitudes. They quickly and efficiently remove excess, weak, or misaligned branches, preserving the ideal framework for the vines to grow. Thanks to machinery, pruning is much more uniform, precise, and faster than manual methods, transforming a meticulous task that used to take weeks into a tightly controlled process that determines the quality of the entire grape crop from the very beginning of the season. Fertilizers are also not used indiscriminately. The amount of nutrients is adjusted according to each stage of development. When the plant needs to promote leaf and stem growth, when it needs to concentrate on sugar accumulation for fruit, and when it needs to be controlled to avoid uncontrolled growth. Every small change in leaves, stems, and fruits is recorded, helping growers detect early signs of water shortage, pests, diseases, or stress due to weather. For months, farmers could control water, fertilizer, and pests. But at this moment, they no longer have many options. Grapes don't ripen all at once. In the same field, some bunches have reached perfect sweetness, while others are still unripe, and time begins to become the biggest enemy. Before the grapes enter the harvesting stage, everything is already shaped from the flowering period. That is the decisive moment that determines the number of grapes, the uniformity of the bunches, and the potential quality of the entire crop. If the flowers bloom unevenly, or if there is cold rain or strong wind, the entire field can lose its yield even before the fruit forms. Therefore, from the moment the flowers open, farmers begin closely monitoring each row of grapes, recording their growth patterns and predicting future ripening times. Once the harvest time has been determined, the grape pickers are the first to enter the vineyard. They move slowly between the rows of straight vines, observing each bunch. The pruning shears are used decisively, preserving the shape of the bunch and the thin natural bloom on the skin. Small details that determine quality. Unripe bunches are left on the vine, while ripe grapes are gently placed in small crates, minimizing any impact. In high-end vineyards, on steep hillsides, or with grape varieties intended for premium wines, human hands are the first filter determining the value from the moment the fruit leaves the vine. Once the manual harvesting is complete, the vineyard quickly transforms. Huge harvesting machines move between the rows of vines like a mobile construction site. The machines grip the vines and begin shaking them at a precisely calculated pace. Too much shaking crushes the grapes. Too little shaking leaves them attached. Every movement is adjusted so that only the best bunches fall to the ground. Grapes fall directly onto an integrated conveyor system, continuously transferring them into large containers mounted directly on the machine. The shaking, collecting, transferring, storage process takes place seamlessly in the field without interruption. In just one day, each machine can harvest tens of tons of grapes, working tirelessly from early morning until late at night. Two harvesting methods coexist in the same field. Hand harvesting offers selectivity and finesse, while machinery ensures speed and yield. Grape harvesting is therefore no longer a scene of people bending over in the sun or just the rumbling of machines, but a harmonious coordination between humans and technology where every decision, every cut, or every shake directly affects the value of the entire crop. As soon as they leave the vineyard, grapes enter the most important race of their lives, a race against time. Mobile processing plants are placed close to the harvest area not for convenience, but to preserve their value. Because even a delay of a few hours can cause the freshness, flavor, and price of the grapes to begin to decline. Here, there is no room for delay or sentimentality. Every operation follows an immutable principle. The value of grapes is not decided in the supermarket, but in the first few hours after harvest. And it is in that brief period that an entire industry, worth tens of billions of dollars, is being protected. From the moment they are cooled and sorted, the grapes immediately embark on a global journey. They are packed in a strictly controlled environment, each crate calculated to withstand vibrations, temperature changes, and transit times spanning thousands of kilometers. A deviation of just a few degrees Celsius in the cold chain can turn an entire shipment worth millions of dollars into a loss. Few people realize that behind a tiny grape lies a logistics system worth tens of billions of dollars annually, where agriculture, technology, and global trade are intricately intertwined. And when you place a grape on your table, that journey is complete, beginning on the earth and ending on the table of the whole world. Besides grapes harvested for fresh sale, a completely different path begins right in the vineyard: grapes for winemaking. With this type of grape, the standard is not based on appearance, but on the sugar content, acidity, and accumulated flavor in each grape. Small bunches with thick skins, even those that are irregular in shape, are preferred because they yield a more concentrated juice, the foundation of high-quality wine. Wine grapes are typically harvested during cooler hours, when low temperatures help preserve their natural aroma. Immediately after being picked, they are not sorted as meticulously as table grapes, but are transported directly to the winery for pressing in the shortest possible time. Here, speed is not about preserving the shape, but about maintaining the flavor and chemical structure of the grape juice. From that moment, grapes are no longer considered fresh produce, but become a raw material for fermentation. Every decision made in the vineyard, whether to harvest early or late, by hand or by machine, leaves a direct mark on the flavor of the wine after months, even years, of aging in wooden barrels. And it is here that the journey of the grape splits in two. One side goes straight to the market. The other enters the world of time, yeast, and value created in silence. But behind the figure of 6 million tons of grapes per year lies a fine line. Climate change is altering every rule that American farmers have ever relied on. Prolonged heat waves, severe droughts, and extreme weather events can ruin entire crops in days. Grapevines are sensitive to temperature and water. Even a small deviation can reduce their quality, flavor, and commercial value. But the risks don't just come from nature. Agricultural labor is increasingly scarce, and costs are rising, forcing farms to change their way of survival. To maintain 6 million tons of grapes annually, American agriculture must stay ahead of nature. From vineyards stretching to the horizon, from meticulously calculated drops of water to colossal harvesting machines working non-stop to produce 6 million tons of grapes annually. It's no coincidence. It's the result of science, technology, and a persistent race between humanity and nature. But as the climate changes and pressures grow, the question is no longer how much grape America has grown, but whether they can continue to do so in the future. Subscribe to Go Discover to join us as we continue to explore the stories behind food, industry, and the massive systems that feed the world every day. Strawberries are one of the most fussy fruits in modern agriculture. They ripen quickly, are easily bruised, and spoil within hours of a slight misstep. This fragility makes them almost impossible to harvest by machine. Each strawberry must be hand-picked at the right ripeness, with the right force, and at the right time, driving up labor costs significantly. The paradox is, the more difficult it is, the more the market demands it. Supermarkets and exports require strawberries to be beautifully red, perfectly fresh, and ready for immediate sale. Therefore, the entire production chain operates like a race against time, from the field to the shelf, allowing no room for error. A strawberry weighs only a few grams, but the system behind it is worth billions of dollars. It's no coincidence that almost the entire American strawberry industry is concentrated in the Central Coast and Salinas Valley. These are among the few places in the world that offer nearly ideal conditions for strawberries, a rather finicky crop. The cool climate year-round helps strawberries ripen slowly and retain their flavor. Morning sea mist acts as a natural air conditioner, reducing stress and maintaining humidity. And importantly, the area is virtually frost-free, a major threat to young strawberries. Thanks to its location in nature's sweet spot, the Central Coast and Salinas Valley allow strawberries to flower, bear fruit, and be harvested continuously for many months. But that advantage is very fragile. Just a slight deviation in weather can shatter all balance. Therefore, to maintain enormous yields each season, humans must tightly control everything from land, water, seeds, to labor, because favorable climate is only a necessary condition, not a sufficient one. Before a ripe red strawberry appears on the storefront, the selection process begins with the finest mother plants. Only those healthy, disease-resistant individuals with consistently sweet fruit are kept. The rest are discarded without hesitation. From that nucleus, the new generation is multiplied either through natural propagation or by tissue culture in a strictly controlled laboratory, where each seedling is disease-free and uniform. Only when they meet the growth standards are they transplanted to the field, initiating a cropping season planned from the roots. On California strawberry farms, nature no longer plays a decisive role. Everything here is designed for efficiency, stability, and near absolute control. The farm is not a place to leave it to fate, but a production system designed down to the smallest detail. Strawberries don't grow naturally on the ground. They are planted on tall, long, and perfectly straight rows covered with specialized black plastic sheeting. This covering retains soil moisture, stabilizes root temperature, and completely blocks weeds 3 factors that previously caused significant losses in traditional farming. Each strawberry row operates like an outdoor conveyor belt, where every planting distance and every seedling hole is meticulously calculated. Hidden beneath the soil is a drip irrigation system that operates with precise control over every drop of water. Water and nutrients aren't distributed haphazardly, but delivered directly to the roots according to a data-driven schedule. Soil moisture, growth stage, weather, and plant uptake. In California, water isn't just a resource, it's a cost, a legal risk, and a crucial factor in the survival of an entire crop. Even strawberry varieties are selected according to industrial logic. Flavor is important, but it's never the only priority. The variety must withstand long-distance transport, maintain its shape well, and not become mushy or bruised after hours of harvesting, cooling, and moving. A strawberry may be perfect on the vine, but if it collapses after harvest, it immediately loses its commercial value. Therefore, the entire field is optimized for one cold but practical goal: to help the strawberries leave the field in the best possible condition, ready to enter the cold chain, packaging line, and market. Here, agriculture is not just about planting crops. It is an industry operating amidst nature, where every decision is weighed against productivity and time. But as the natural climate becomes increasingly unpredictable, open fields are no longer the only option. To reduce dependence on the weather and extend the growing season, many farms in California are beginning to switch to growing strawberries in greenhouses where nature is put into control. In a closed greenhouse environment, factors that were previously entirely dependent on the weather are brought under active control, from temperature, humidity, and light to the growth rate of the plants. Production is therefore no longer limited by seasons, but operates as a precision agricultural production line. Greenhouses not only protect strawberries from rain, wind, and frost, but also establish a new, stable, clean, and completely proactive farming model. And it is from here that the story of the strawberry enters another chapter: programmed agriculture, where each ripe fruit no longer depends on the luck of the weather, but on pre-calculated parameters. In the field, strawberries completely follow the rhythm of nature. After planting, the plants begin to flower after about 30 to 45 days if the weather is favorable. The period from flowering to fruit setting usually lasts 7 to 10 days, and it takes another 25 to 35 days for the fruit to develop, ripen, and reach harvest size. Just a slight increase in temperature, prolonged rain, or unusual frost can slow down this process, causing many flowers to fall off or fruit to develop unevenly. Therefore, in the field, the time from flowering to fruit ripening is often long and unpredictable, closely dependent on the season and weather. Amidst the straight rows of California strawberries, humans remain an irreplaceable link in the chain. Much of the harvesting relies on immigrant labor, who begin work at dawn and only leave the fields when the sun is high in the sky. No machinery is sophisticated enough to pick each strawberry perfectly ripe, hand-picked, undamaged, and free from scratches or bruises. They bent over for hours, repeating the same motion thousands of times a day. Speed and precision were essential. Too fast, and the strawberries would be ruined. Too slow, and productivity would be lost. Income was tied to a slightly slower pace, which also meant losing wages. As one worker succinctly put it, "Strawberries don't wait for anyone." Because strawberries ripen very quickly and spoil just as quickly. In the fields, the harvest season is measured not in days, but in hours. Workers have to pick continuously from early morning, while the fruit is still cool and firm enough in order to get it to the conveyor belt in time. Few people notice those hands when buying a box of strawberries at the supermarket, but they are the silent heart that ensures billions of strawberries reach the dinner table every day. In recent years, strawberry harvesting robots have begun to move out of the laboratory and appear directly in the field, especially in greenhouses, where stable conditions allow the technology to work most effectively. Thanks to a camera system and AI, robots scan each row of strawberries, identifying ripe fruit based on color, size, and position. When the right fruit is selected, a robotic arm uses soft clamps or small cutting blades to separate the strawberry from the stem, minimizing damage. Unripe fruit is discarded and will be picked later, ensuring timely harvesting. Capable of operating day and night, robots help maintain the freshness of strawberries and alleviate labor shortages. Although the initial investment is still high, this technology is gradually becoming an important piece of the modern strawberry industry, not replacing humans, but changing harvesting methods in the era of precision agriculture. With strawberries, the moment they leave the picker's hands is when the race against time begins. Right in the field, the strawberries are placed in trays and subjected to preliminary sorting. Those meeting the standards for color, firmness, and size are kept, while those that are bruised, soft, or overripe are immediately discarded. Every decision is made in seconds, without emotion, based solely on standards. When the refrigerated truck arrives at the factory, the strawberries are immediately taken straight to a sealed receiving area, where the temperature is kept stable to prevent disruption to the cold chain. From here, the strawberries move on to a stainless steel conveyor belt, beginning a journey of even stricter quality control than in the field. In the first stage, the sorting system combines workers directly inspecting each tray. Color, firmness, size, and signs of damage are all carefully examined. Those that do not meet the standards are immediately removed before they have a chance to move further down the conveyor belt. Strawberries that meet the requirements are then accurately weighed and arranged into trays or retail boxes. Next, the strawberries are packaged in a clean environment, minimizing bacterial contamination and impact. Each box is labeled with a traceability tag, clearly indicating the farm, harvest date, and packaging time. Afterward, the strawberries are transferred to a cold storage facility, awaiting distribution to supermarkets or export. Throughout this process, the clock never stops. Every hour of delay shortens the shelf life of the strawberries. Therefore, the factory operates as a closed-loop system where speed, temperature, and standards are tightly controlled, because the value of the strawberries lies not in quantity, but in maintaining their freshness until the very last minute. Behind the delicate sweetness of a strawberry lies an entire system under immense pressure. Pressure from labor, hands bent over for hours. Pressure from the climate. A single heat wave or frost can ruin an entire crop. And pressure from costs. Every minute of delay translates into real losses. Because the price of a strawberry isn't just in the supermarket. It's in the sweat that soaks the soil, in the cold mornings in the fields, and in the relentless race against time. The next time you hold a ripe red strawberry in your hand, remember that it's not just food. It's the result of billions of silent moments of labor behind the scenes. Behind every sweet strawberry lies sweat, time, and a grueling race against nature. Billions of strawberries don't appear on supermarket shelves by chance. They are the result of the silent labor of humans and a constantly operating agricultural system. Subscribe to the godiscover channel to continue exploring the authentic, harsh, and surprising stories hidden behind food and the world around us. For California, almonds are not just a healthy food, but the brown gold of modern agriculture. Rich in nutrients, almonds appear throughout the global food chain, from nut milks, snacks, and confectionery to nutritional supplements. Behind its thin exterior lies a multi-billion-dollar industry operating on a global scale. California almonds are exported to Europe, China, India, and hundreds of other markets, becoming a strategic source of revenue. Therefore, for California, almonds are just as important as oil is to the Middle East. A single failed harvest can not only harm farmers, but also impact the entire global food chain. This isn't just about agriculture, it's about economics and a sustainable future. The Central Valley, California, is the cornerstone of the global almond industry, not by luck, but because it possesses exceptionally rare conditions. This valley, stretching over 400 miles, has long, sunny summers, dry springs, and winters cold enough for almond trees to go dormant without being destroyed by frost. In Central Valley, the almond industry's journey begins with rigorously selected seeds. These seeds are grown under tightly controlled conditions, ensuring optimal humidity, temperature, and hygiene to eliminate the risk of fungal diseases from the outset. The valley's sufficiently cold winter helps seeds break their natural dormancy, accumulating energy for germination. As temperatures warm in early spring, the deep, well-drained alluvial soil creates an ideal environment for young roots to quickly penetrate, establish themselves firmly, and absorb nutrients efficiently. Dry weather is especially important at this time. No prolonged rain, no late frosts, helping the seedlings to grow evenly and healthily. In just a few weeks, the first green shoots appear, laying the foundation for the entire growth cycle that follows. Dry weather is especially important at this time. No prolonged rain, no late frosts, helping the seedlings to grow evenly and healthily. In just a few weeks, the first green shoots appear, laying the foundation for the entire growth cycle that follows. The natural environment of the Central Valley not only helps almonds grow, but protects them from the moment the seeds germinate. This stable beginning is the first step in creating the world's largest almond industry. Viewed from above, California almond orchards don't resemble a typical farm, but rather an open-air factory. Everything is deliberately arranged, from the perfectly aligned rows of trees to the spacing between them, all designed for large-scale production. From the very beginning of planting, almond trees are arranged at fixed distances. The rows of trees are evenly spaced and straight to allow machinery to easily move around, care for, and harvest them. Proper placement ensures uniform growth, sufficient sunlight and wind, and prevents collisions when machinery operates later. The soil is also kept in a stable state, not too wet, not too dry, allowing the roots to grow deep and strong. When the plant is growing well, the foliage is kept neat to allow even light distribution, creating favorable conditions for the plant to prepare for the most important stage, flowering. Instead of letting almond trees grow naturally, growers must intervene at the right time to prevent the entire garden from becoming chaotic. After about 2 years, pruning is no longer just about beautifying, but about restructuring. Old, weak, and disease-prone branches are removed, leaving a neat framework for healthy branches to take advantage of the light and space. When the canopy is opened, sunlight not only reaches the top, but penetrates deep inside. Air circulates evenly, and excess moisture is reduced, all of which directly impact flowering and fruiting ability. Pruning is carefully timed, usually in late winter or early spring, just before the tree enters its most vigorous growth phase. On farms spanning thousands of hectares, pruning machines become an extension of the farmer's arm. They process hundreds of trees daily, cutting 2 to 4 branches per second, reducing the time by 50 to 70%, compared to manual methods. The even, precise cuts help the trees recover quickly, minimize damage, and maintain consistent yields over multiple seasons. When spring comes, the valley has only a few short weeks that determine the entire almond crop. Millions of trees bloom simultaneously with pink and white flowers, beautiful but extremely sensitive. The flowers need dry weather for bees to thrive. Just a few days of rain or cold wind are enough to drastically reduce fruit set. If the plants are not cared for evenly beforehand, the flowers will bloom at the wrong time, pollination by bees will be less effective, and yields will decrease. Therefore, every step from planting and watering to adjusting growth is carefully calculated months before the flowering season. In California's vast almond production chain, there's one link that no machine can replace: bees. They don't use electricity or software, yet they determine the survival of the entire industry. Almond trees are almost 100% dependent on cross-pollination. Without bees, the flowers would bloom and wither, leaving no fruit, no seeds, and a crop worth tens of billions of dollars could collapse in just a few weeks. Every spring, when almond trees bloom simultaneously, millions of beehives are transported by truck from across the United States to the Central Valley, creating the largest biological migration on the planet. Beehives are placed at carefully calculated densities. Too few bees mean insufficient pollination. Too many reduce efficiency. Weather is also a crucial variable. Rain or strong winds for a few days can prevent bees from flying and deprive them of an entire year's opportunity. When the flowers fall, the young almonds begin to form, small, green, and fragile. From mid-spring through the summer, the fruit grows larger, accumulates nutrients, and changes color as it nears ripeness. This is the stage where the plant is under the most stress. Even a lack of water or pest infestation can reduce quality. Therefore, Irrigation and care must be carefully controlled to ensure each fruit reaches its best size and firmness by harvest time. As summer draws to a close, the almond orchards, quiet for months, suddenly enter their noisiest time of year. This is when humans step back and machines begin to speak. Tree-shaking machines move along the perfectly straight rows of almond trees. They don't shake randomly. Each shake is precisely calculated in frequency and force, strong enough to dislodge the almonds from the branches, but not enough to damage the tree trunk for the next season. In just seconds, the entire canopy shakes and an almond rain begins to fall. Below, the umbrella-shaped collection system and conveyor belt are ready. The almonds fall without touching the bare ground, free from dirt and sand. They are all collected continuously, flowing straight into the huge containers behind the machine, without interruption, without stopping. An industrial assembly line is operating right in the middle of the field. Speed is crucial. Each machine can process tens of tons of almonds per day, working from early morning until late afternoon. What once required hundreds of manual laborers now only needs a few people to operate, supervise, and adjust the machine's pace. Efficiency lies not only in productivity, but also in uniformity, precision, and absolute repeatability. Here, harvesting is no longer the image of people bending over in the fields. It's the metallic sounds, engines, conveyor belts, and the rhythmic vibrations that signal money is being made every minute. And in that moment, the Central Valley ceased to be a traditional agricultural field. It became a giant open-air factory where every vibration of the machinery was contributing to 2.8 billion pounds of almonds, annually, a figure sufficient to feed an entire global market. When almonds leave the field, they immediately enter the production line, where every minute determines the value of the nut. There is no room for delay. Moisture, heat, and microorganisms can ruin the entire batch if the process is not properly sealed from the start. At the factory, almonds enter a continuous processing line. First, they undergo mechanical cleaning, completely removing dust, dry leaves, and impurities. Next, a shelling system operates with precisely calibrated force, peeling off the hard shell without cracking the kernel inside. After shelling, the kernels are transferred to an industrial drying chamber, where temperature and humidity are strictly controlled to stabilize quality and extend shelf life while preserving their natural flavor. On the sorting conveyor belt, cameras and optical sensors scan each particle at high speed. Even the slightest deviation in color, size, or surface texture will result in the particle being immediately removed from the mainstream. There is no subjective assessment. Every decision is made automatically by the system in an instant. The result is a closed-loop processing chain where almonds are standardized before being packaged and distributed to the global market. In this industry, it's well understood that the value of almonds isn't determined on the retail shelf, but in the first few hours on the production line, where quality is either retained or lost after just one shift. Behind that seemingly solid 2.8 billion pound figure lies a future fraught with pressure. Prolonged droughts, climate change leading to warmer winters and harsher summers, increasingly strained water resources, and bees, the biological engine of the entire almond industry, face unprecedented pressure. A single slow link could destabilize this vast system. But in California, agriculture has never stood still. Farms are transforming to drip precision irrigation, data and AI to predict risks, optimize growth, and reduce waste. Sustainable farming is no longer an option. It's a necessary path to survival. This race is not just between humans and the market, but between modern agriculture and a changing nature. And the big question remains: can we continue to feed the world without exceeding its own limits? From the arid fields of California to the billions of pounds of almonds gracing tables around the world, this isn't just a story about productivity. It's a silent race between humans, technology, and nature. Every almond is the result of precise calculations, significant risk-taking, and decisions that cannot go wrong. If you want to continue exploring the vast agricultural industries, the technology behind everyday food, and the little-known stories in the global supply chain, subscribe to the godiscover channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episodes. Bananas are one of the few fruits present across all social classes and cultures. From supermarkets and fast food to morning smoothies and baby food, bananas are everywhere. Not because they are luxurious, but because they are cheap, convenient, energy-rich, and ready to eat. For hundreds of millions of people, bananas are like the protein of fruit, accessible and quickly filling. The real power of bananas lies not in their flavor, but in their controllability. Bananas are harvested while still green, stored in cold conditions for weeks, then awakened to ripen uniformly at the exact time they are sold. This ability is what turns bananas into a backbone of global fruit trade. Because behind an ordinary bunch of bananas is a massive system: industrial farms, cargo ships, cold storage facilities, processing plants, and millions of people working nonstop. Bananas look simple, but the world behind them is anything but simple. On large-scale banana plantations, banana farming is no longer spontaneous, but organized tightly like a production line. The first step is variety selection. Growers use only a few standardized banana varieties that produce uniform fruit, are easy to transport, and ripen in sync. Thanks to this, bananas harvested from different plots still match in size, color, and ripening time. Planting methods are also carefully calculated. Bananas are planted in straight rows, divided into clearly defined plots, each with its own planting and harvesting schedule, so that bananas are ready for shipment every week. The spacing between plants is kept fixed to ensure even growth, easier maintenance, and effective pest control. In this system, bananas are not grown to follow nature, but to meet schedules and output targets. Just one plot planted out of sync or with uneven varieties can disrupt the entire downstream supply chain. Therefore, from banana varieties to planting methods, everything serves a single goal: stable harvesting at the right time with no deviation. The early stage after planting is when the plant tests itself against the new environment, so every fluctuation must be tightly controlled. Too much sun requires timely irrigation. Excessive rain demands fast drainage so the roots do not suffocate. On large plantations, drip irrigation or mist spraying not only maintains stable moisture, but also turns crop care into a precise process that reduces labor while achieving high efficiency. After about 7 to 8 months of careful nurturing, the banana plant reaches a moment of transformation. From the top of the stalk, the banana blossom slowly emerges. Layers of deep purple flowers unfold in sequence, stacked like delicate folds. Each layer of flowers is a blueprint for a hand of bananas, which eventually come together to form a long bunch weighing dozens of kilograms. Once the shape of the banana bunch becomes clear, growers begin to dress it in a protective layer. Thin plastic bags, usually green or white, are wrapped around the bunch to shield it from insects and harsh sunlight, helping the fruit grow evenly with smoother skins and more attractive color. At the same time, fine-tuning operations are carried out. Smaller hands at the end of the bunch are often trimmed so nutrients can be concentrated on the main hands. As the weight increases, the banana bunch is supported with wooden props or hanging strings to prevent bending or breaking. Throughout this stage, the nutrient regime is adjusted flexibly. In the early phase, organic fertilizer and nitrogen help the stem and leaves grow strong. Once the fruit is formed, potassium and phosphorus are added to promote fruit enlargement. Meanwhile, young shoots and old leaves are removed to reduce nutrient competition, keep the plantation well ventilated, and limit the spread of pests and diseases. Even when surrounded by plans, schedules, and technology, bananas still cannot be separated from human hands. There is no machine delicate enough to decide which bunch meets the standard and which must be left behind. No robot can sense the exact cutting force needed to avoid bruising the banana stalk, or place a hand of bananas down without creating marks that will only become visible weeks later at sea. At this stage, eyes, hands, and experience remain the most precise tools. Yet this work is far from gentle. Workers labor in hot, humid conditions, sweat pouring constantly, repeating the same motion hundreds of times a day. Speed is mandatory, but gentleness is also in order. Just one heavy placement, one small scratch that seems harmless, is enough to devalue an entire box of bananas when it reaches the market. The pressure does not come from the noise of machines, but from the awareness that every movement carries real money. that is why, on these massive banana plantations, harvesting is not simply about cutting fruit. It is a race where you must be fast, but must not damage anything. And within that fragile margin, humans remain the irreplaceable link. From this point, the banana bunches are separated into individual hands, a task that seems simple but demands high precision. The cut must be clean, the hand pressure steady. Then comes grading, where bananas are no longer seen as fruit, but as commercial units. Size, curvature, the number of fingers per hand, and even tiny scratches barely visible to the naked eye are all inspected. Any deviation from the standard is enough for a hand of bananas to be removed from the premium export line. It is precisely at this point that bananas complete their most important transformation, from an agricultural product into a global commodity. And it is also here that one harsh rule of the industry becomes clear. A single small blemish can push an entire hand out of export standards, meaning the loss of value built up over an entire growing season. Inside the packing facility, bananas enter the final filtering stage before reaching the market. Large, heavy bunches are dismantled into neat individual hands, each kept at only 5 to 7 fingers. The process is slow and deliberate to ensure the peel remains intact and the stem unchipped. Immediately afterward, the bananas are guided through washing tanks, where clean water mixed with mild biological solutions rinses away sticky sap, dirt, and any remaining microorganisms on the surface of the peel. Clean bananas then move onto the sorting tables, where there is no room for leniency. Each hand is closely inspected. A single scratch, a brown spot, or an irregular shape is enough to be set aside. Those that do not meet the standard are diverted for domestic consumption or processing, making way for export-grade fruit. In the final step, Banana hands are placed onto padded trays lined with paper or foam to absorb impact. From there, they are neatly packed into cardboard boxes, sealed with information on batch numbers, branding, and destination. Every box of bananas leaving the packing house carries not only fruit, but an entire chain of strict control behind it. Not stopping at the packing stage, imperfect bananas are further sent into industrial processing lines to create convenient products such as dried bananas. At the factory, the bananas are cleaned to remove dirt and impurities, then sliced into thin, uniform pieces. Depending on the technology applied, the bananas may be naturally dried, heat-treated, or processed using modern freeze-drying methods to preserve their original flavor and nutritional value. In the next step, the dried bananas are enhanced with flavors such as salt, sugar, or other seasonings to suit consumer preferences. Finally, the products are sealed in airtight packaging to maintain their crispness and distinctive taste. Dried bananas not only meet domestic demand, but are also exported to many countries. contributing to the increased value of Philippine agricultural products in the international market. But behind every banana is speed, discipline, and a global machine that cannot afford mistakes. What generates billions of dollars is not the fruit itself, but the way humans control time and quality. If you want to keep exploring the hidden systems behind the most familiar things in everyday life, don't forget to subscribe to the Go Discover channel so you don't miss the next stories. At first glance, sweet corn is just a small, familiar ear of corn, almost invisible on the everyday dinner table. But behind that green husk lies a huge economic machine. The United States is currently one of the world's largest producers of sweet corn, and over 90% of Americans consume sweet corn annually, from family dinners to weekend BBQ parties. Sweet corn is everywhere, in the towers of canned corn in supermarkets, in the frozen bags supplied to restaurant chains, and in countless processed food products whose origins we rarely consider. Because it's so familiar, sweet corn is often overlooked. But behind those humble kernels of corn lies a multi-billion-dollar food industry operating continuously from the field to the table of hundreds of millions of people. To produce 2.9 billion pounds of sweet corn annually, it all starts with a map. It's no coincidence that vast sweet corn fields are densely concentrated in the Midwest Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, where nutrient-rich black soils have been formed over thousands of years of deposition. Intense summer sunshine and a short growing season force corn to grow precisely on schedule without a single day's delay. Meanwhile, Florida and California take on early crops, filling the market before the Midwest enters its growing season. But sweet corn is extremely finicky. It needs the right temperature, well-drained soil, and only a few ideal days to ripen before the sugar in the kernel crystallizes into starch. Missing that time can cause the entire crop to lose value, and to reach the 2.9 billion pounds mark, soil and sunshine clearly aren't enough. To produce nearly 2.9 billion pounds of sweet corn annually, American farmers no longer grow corn using traditional manual methods. They organize entire fields like outdoor factories, where everything is arranged to facilitate large-scale production. From the very beginning of the season, specialized seed planters have taken on the most important task. Each seed is sown at the correct depth, spacing, and density. At the same time, the machine compacts the soil and applies initial fertilizer, helping the corn plant sprout almost simultaneously, essential for later machine harvesting. Underground, the irrigation and nutrient supply system is adjusted according to each stage of plant development, ensuring the entire field grows uniformly. Even the corn varieties are selected and bred to ripen almost simultaneously, with stalks strong enough for the harvesters and ears of corn reaching the correct size to fall onto the harvesting conveyor belt. At this scale, corn is no longer grown at the whim of nature. Instead, the crop is engineered to fit the machinery, schedules, and pace of the market. On the seemingly peaceful Midwest fields, sweet corn is actually operating like a giant industrial assembly line, where nature and technology must work in unison. When the corn kernels first enter the soil, water becomes the signal to awaken life. From that moment on, irrigation is no longer just support, but the lifeblood of the entire sweet corn field. Especially during the tasseling, silking, and ear formation stages, even a short period of water shortage can drastically reduce yield and be irreparable. Faced with intense heat and unpredictable weather, American farmers use pivot irrigation systems, centralized, giant mechanical arms that slowly rotate across the fields, distributing water evenly and precisely. Inside are moisture sensors, weather data, and remote controls, allowing for the right amount of water to be applied at the right time, neither too much nor too little. When the corn plants reach maturity, the field enters a decisive moment. At the top of the stalks, the male flowers burst open, releasing millions of tiny pollen grains carried by the wind and invisible rain, yet one that carries the command of life.
Ya andamos mi raza, aire. Ya andamos en la otra temporada nueva. Ahora me tocó de tractorista este año. Pero ahí vienen los cortadores allá abajo.
Immediately after that moment, the biological clock begins to reverse. Sugar quickly turns into starch, the kernels harden, and the sweetness diminishes sharply. A delay of 24 to 48 hours can render an entire field of commercially viable corn unsuitable for harvest. When the signal is given, corn harvesting begins. In the soft amber light of early morning, with dew still clinging to the edges of the leaves, the cornfield on the hillside awakens along with the people. No sirens, no noisy sounds, just the steady rhythm of a harvest taking place with precise silence. The farmers move between rows of corn as if they know each step by heart. With a neat flick of the wrist, the ripe ear of corn separates from the stalk. No rush, no waste. The corn is placed on a narrow conveyor belt running along the field, gliding along gently like a stream connecting human hands with the rhythmic operation of machinery. At the end of that short journey, the corn is received right on the harvesting truck. The leaves are quickly peeled off, the silks are neatly trimmed, and the thin layer of soil is wiped away in seconds. Each ear of corn is placed in a bin as a finished product, not as raw produce. On the cornfields that stretch to the horizon, where scale dictates everything, humans are gradually stepping back to make way for the giant steel creatures of modern agriculture. When the golden hour is activated, the cornfield instantly transforms into a giant outdoor factory. Harvesting machines begin moving relentlessly, their steel bodies vibrating between rows of straight corn stalks. A single machine can handle tens of tons per day, and when hundreds of machines operate simultaneously, output is measured in minutes, not hours. The stalks are neatly cut in an instant. The corn cobs are precisely separated and then slide onto the conveyor belt continuously like an unending flow. There is no time for hesitation, no room for error. The machine must run until the field is empty. The sounds of metal engines and conveyor belts blend together into a cold but efficient rhythm, where every minute thousands of ears of corn are pulled from the ground. What once required thousands of laborers bending over all day long has now been replaced by a few machines operating with inch-level precision. In this race, humans are no longer the driving force. They are the brains behind the scenes, while the machines are the tireless arms. The real race begins when the corn is taken out of the field. With sweet corn, time isn't measured in days, but in minutes. In just a few short hours, the natural sugars in the kernels begin to convert into starch, and every minute of delay means a loss of precious sweetness. So, convoys of trucks loaded with corn streamed straight into the factory, where the industrial assembly line was waiting to receive the enormous volume of freshly harvested corn. Inside the factory, everything happens at a relentless pace. Corn kernels are separated, washed, and then immediately passed through a steaming or ultra-fast freezing process to lock in the flavor at its sweetest point. The conveyor belts run continuously, the machines operating in perfect synchronization like a living organism, because even a slight delay could cost millions of pounds of corn. Here, there is no room for sentiment. Only time, temperature, and speed are absolutely controlled. That's the golden rule of the American sweet corn industry. The value of corn isn't determined at the supermarket, nor by the label, but is decided in the first few hours after harvest. And it is during that brief period that an entire multi-billion-dollar industry is racing against timepieces, striving to maintain the sweetness that consumers expect. From the moment the corn kernels are separated from the cob in the factory, a silent but enormous journey begins. Billions of pounds of sweet corn leave the processing line into cold storage, containers, and trucks, spreading across America at the speed of a precise industrial system. In just a few days, corn from the Midwest fields is on supermarket shelves, in food factories, or tucked away in the frozen bags of millions of families. Another portion goes on to further processing, canning, freezing, and as an ingredient in soups, fast food, and even popcorn. In other factories, corn kernels are dried, heat-treated, and sorted to become popcorn. When exposed to heat, each kernel pops, transforming a humble agricultural ingredient into a treat found in movie theaters and living rooms around the world. And the story doesn't end in America. Corn continues to cross the ocean, becoming part of a global supply chain worth tens of billions of dollars. Each container leaving port carries not just corn, but the value of an entire system calculated down to the minute. And then, at the end, everything becomes surprisingly simple. A bowl of popcorn, a plate of sweet corn for dinner. Few realize that behind that moment lies a colossal machine operating continuously, involving land, water, people, technology, and time. For decades, 2.9 billion pounds of sweet corn annually was a given for American agriculture. But that figure is now under immense pressure. Climate change is making crops more unpredictable, water resources are increasingly strained, and rising energy costs are forcing every operation to be carefully considered. Faced with that pressure, American agriculture has no room for retreat. Farming must be more precise, more water efficient, and create more value in less time. Because to maintain 2.9 billion pounds a year, they must not only race against nature, but also outpace the weather, the market, and time itself. $2.9 billion pounds of sweet corn is not just a number. It's the result of machines, data, people, and a relentless race against weather and time. Every ear of corn you eat today is a trace of a massive system at work behind the scenes. If you want to continue exploring incredible numbers, colossal machines, and little-known agricultural industries, subscribe to the godiscover channel so you don't miss the next stories. From the vast fields of sweet corn in North America, the next question immediately arises. What happens when the same agricultural marvel is replicated on one of the world's driest and harshest continents, Australia, home to giant mango orchards?